it's Ash from Super Videos back at you for another comic book issue review. So this time we're going to review issue 163 of The Walking Dead, which is called Conquered. So this is basically the first issue from the new arc after the Whisperer War. Before I actually get into the review, I just want to say that unlike the last issue, which was underwhelming for me, this one, even though it was a bit underwhelming for me, it still had some great things in there. Now, for the last issue, because it was the conclusion to something and it was the end of an arc, I was expecting more. But for this issue, since it's the beginning of a new arc, I wasn't expecting too much from there. What we got was actually pretty cool. Even though, like I said, I am a bit underwhelmed, I enjoyed this issue a whole lot more than the last issue. So in this issue, we basically continue where we left off. If you remember the last issue, we left off with Rick telling Dwight and the others that there's an ocean of the dead coming and they miscalculated how many walkers the Whisperers have at their disposal. So in this issue, we basically start with Rick and Dwight coming to the gates and looking at the ocean of dead that are approaching Alexandria's gates. We have Eugene coming out saying, I want to help. Rick, of course, saying you can't because you just collapsed in front of me. You're in no condition to do so. But Eugene is persistent and he wants to help, which makes me love his character even more. And we have a conversation between Rick and Andrea as well as Dwight about who should go out there to try to move the herd in a different direction. Andrea wants to go, but Rick doesn't agree. But I love that Dwight says that I'm going to take care of Andrea and the others, and it just shows how far Dwight has come as a character, which is pretty interesting. Then, of course, we have Andrea, Michonne, Dwight, and some of the others going out to try to move the herd away. There's this one panel with Andrea on the horse, Eugene in the back, Dwight, Michonne, and the others, and the other Alexandrians are closing the gates on them as they go with their horses on horseback to basically try to maneuver the herd in a different direction. I just love this specific panel. It's great artwork. I love it. And then there's a full backsplash page with Anne saying that they're in range, which is basically that the walkers are very close. And I love this specific page as well. It's very cool. Then we have another great full panel page with Rick saying, you heard Anne, here they come. So I love the artwork in these couple pages. So basically they're waiting for the herd to come and they're actually looking for the others as they approach the herd and try to maneuver the herd in a different direction. Then at some point, Negan comes out and says, what's everyone freaking out over? And then he says, what's that sound? And he looks out and he realizes what's happening. And Rick straight away tells him that you can't grab a gun, you have to stay back. Which just shows how much Rick doesn't trust Negan, even in this situation where Negan would probably be very handy for him, but he doesn't trust him. So then we have some of the walkers falling into the trenches that they have made, into the cars, into the poles, which is pretty cool. These couple pages are actually giving me some flashbacks of No Way Out, which is very cool. And I love how this post-Whisper War arc that is happening has some type of No Way Out tone to it. So I love that. Then, of course, we have everyone just trying to move the walkers in different directions. We have some people moving one portion of the herd and another portion of the herd. And then we have Michonne at one point. She gets off the horse and starts chopping off the head of these walkers, which just shows how much of a badass she is. I love that. It is a bit risky though, but I respect her for doing that. But it was a very risky move. But she basically tells Jesus that, we can do 5 or 6 at a time. You do it, then you jump on the horse and I'll do it. This way we can keep them in control, which is actually a pretty good strategy. And then the next section, we basically have all of the herd at the gates. So they're pushing on the gates. And we know for sure that the gate isn't going to hold. The gate and the wall didn't hold during No Way Out, which didn't see this many walkers. So in this case, we were sure that the gate was going to come down. This was even revealed based on the cover for the next issue. But not to get into that right now. We have the walkers at the gate. Rick says, grab the knife and start chopping people up and start killing them. Of course, we have everyone doing that. We have Negan coming and helping out, which I love. And then there's this one point that I love with Rick kind of shocked for a second that Negan is actually helping out. And then he says, listen to the man. So it's cool how Rick doesn't trust Negan, but he wants to trust them because he needs to. So it's pretty cool. Then there's another backsplash page with the walkers at the gate. This is amazing artwork here. It's very detailed. I love it. It's very gory and it just shows you the horror that is there. Actually, this may not be a backsplash because there's different panels, but it's a great artwork page regardless. Then there's another page with the wall coming down, which is pretty amazing. Rick screaming, everyone get back. We have people trying to kill the ones that are near them. We have a couple people, and I believe, and someone else, they go down. And then there's another backsplash with Rick, Negan, and some of the others in the center of Alexandria with all the walkers approaching, which is amazing artwork again. Then as everyone is getting bit and getting grabbed, we have at one point Rick fall down. And at this point, I'm like, it's probably happening, Rick is probably dying, but we have Negan coming to the rescue, which is pretty clever. I love the writing in this scenario, and it's just pretty amazing that Negan helped him. And we have Negan saying, this makes up for everything, right? Even though I'm the one who fucked the leg up in the first place. Which is a typical thing Negan would say, but it's pretty cool. And then he says, you're a hard fucking man to please, Rick Grimes. And then we have the last page with the cliffhanger. We have the member of the Saviors who's in lead right now. I'm drawing a blank on his name. I think it's John or something. Or William, I don't know. I think William is from the Kingdom. I'm not sure, I'm drawing a blank on his name, but he's basically on the pole with binoculars looking at Alexandria, who's just been overrun. And we can just see from the binoculars panel how many walkers are actually at Alexandria's gates. And it just shows that there's no way Alexandria is going to survive this. But I love that cliffhanger. It basically confirms that we're going to see something with the Saviors in the next issue. Now, I'm not sure what the Saviors are going to do. I don't think they're just going to come in because all of the walkers are there. They're probably just going to wait and see what happens. And then, if need be, they will go in there from another direction and try to kill off the people that are still there. Or that's their strategy, at least. But it's going to be very interesting what happens. Now, like I said, this was a bit underwhelming because they were hyping this issue to be something amazing, but it didn't really have anything that surprised me that much, and it didn't have any wow moment in there, except the part with Negan saving Rick. But that's basically it for this review. In terms of a rating, I will give this issue a high good rating. It wasn't bad at all. It was a pretty decent issue for the start of a new arc. But that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll be back for another video.